Yo, turn the lights down low and the drama up. She's late, she's loud, and she live. Woo! You already know who it is. Shades 2, baby. She back again. Crowd lit, vibe on 10. Shay walk in like we back again. News, tea, jokes and spins. She don't do small talk, she go in. From the headlines to the comment section. She call names with no correction. You tuned in, don't act brand new. It's late night, baby, she got that view.
It's late night with Shay.
She say what she want, then laughs all day. Look on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I let game, we back again.
It's late night with Shay.
She say what she want, then laughs all day. Look on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again. Popcorn ready, wig on alert. She dropped one line, is somebody hurt? Talk show queen with a side of roast. She run this thing from coast to coast. Late on purpose, still on time. She hit you with shade, then call it a rhyme. Talk smart, talk slick, talk flame. Say the name right here, late night with Shay.
It's late night with Shay.
She say what she want, and laughs all day. Live on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again.
It's late night with Shay.
She say what she want, and laughs all day. Live on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again. That's right. News, drama, laughs, whatever else you feel like. One mic, one queen. Late night with Shay. On Shay's tube, she back again.
It's late night with Shay.
Yeah, she say what she want and laughs all day. Live on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again.
It's late night with Shay.
She say what she want and laughs all day. Live on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again. Yeah.
All right, you guys, welcome to Shay's Tube Late Night Owls Talk Time. Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to everybody in the bushes, everyone who watched this in the replay. Over here in the chat, we got Jermaine in the place to be. What's going on, Jermaine? And thank you for being here. All right, I hope you guys had a beautiful Wednesday. Happy and blessed Thursday to you guys. And tonight we're going to be asking a question. Was Karmelo Anthony outnumbered? All right, and plus, I just want to go over some things that is true regarding his trial and some things that were false. All righty, so we'll get you a relaxing bed or whatever, seat or whatever. If you are at work, you know what to do. Watch or listen to me on the down low. Also, guys, if you enjoy this content tonight, make sure you thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notifications. Share, leave a comment, and hype this video up. And if you want to show additional support for this channel, you can feel free to do a super sticker, super chat, cash app donation at $Shades2, or you can copy yourself a membership for $4.99 per month. All righty? Thank you guys so much. Let me go ahead and put my background music on real quick. And then we are getting ready to get started. Okay. I'm going to turn down to probably about 10. We can do it. I'm trying to get it on 10. Okay, I got it. All right, let me change this banner to Karmelo Anthony. Hold on, let me edit this real quick. Okay. All right. So anyway, yesterday we took a look at that, a clearer version of that video, the same video but a clearer version. Okay, and myself as well as Jermaine and some other people, we clearly saw more than one person. Okay, more than two people, pushing, possibly punching, pulling him. It looks like Karmelo Anthony was pulled up, to that person. And then it looks like also before the altercation started, the physical altercation started, it looks like one of those kids went over there and grabbed something and took it over there or threw it over there by them. You can see all of that in that daggone video. And so me and Jermaine, ask one another this question: was Karmelo Anthony outnumbered? Because like in the trial, they basically just focus on him getting slightly touched on the shoulder or slightly pushed, nothing too hard, anything like that. But when you look at that video, it clearly looks a little different. So I'm going to show that video again so you can see that part again and go from there. Okay, let me go ahead and mute this wheel. We can actually keep that on, so let's do like this. So let's go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and go to my here. Let me go to my TikTok thing. I think it's on here. Let's see, profile. So let's go ahead and look at this one more time. And we're going to concentrate again on underneath that tent, because it certainly looks like more than two people engaged in that physical altercation. At least to us, it does. I'm going to fast forward all this other stuff, okay? I just want to go up to that part. I am fast forward it, okay? So in a minute it'll start up. But when you look at underneath that tent, and everything start happening, it just looks like it's more than two people engaged in this. In a minute, everything is getting ready to start. They get ready to start right now. When you see like somebody did something, I don't know what they're doing right there. See, that's 2, 3. See another boy. There's got to be at least 3 joining in, maybe a 4th boy joining in. Let's look at that part again, because I see more than one set of hands. There's the one right over there. One right here. I think Carmelo's sitting down somewhere up in there, if I'm not mistaken. He walks over there, start pushing him. He pushes back. Somebody gets knocked down there. That's probably when he stabbed him and stuff. I don't know for sure. Did this boy do anything right here? Let me look at this again and see something. The person was standing up in here. They're doing something right there. You can clearly see two boys standing up right here. And that boy doing something, grabbing something, maybe taking it back over there. It's hard to tell 100%. This person looks like they sits down though, right? I'm not sure. And he gets up and go over there and push. That's 1, 2. So I wish on everything we can get a clearer version, and get shots from another angle. So that's why we asking the question: was Karmelo Anthony outnumbered? Because when you look at this video, it definitely we know for sure it's more than one. Obviously, both the brothers were engaged in this. At least it looks like that anyway. And then it looks like another person could have been hitting as well. You see 1, 2, 3, at least 3. I don't know about 4 or 5, but at least 3. Could be 4. So how many did you see, Jermaine? Let's look at it one more time. Hey, Nick State, Brooklyn. Oh man, I wish I could zoom this in as well. So you got him here. He hit him first. You can almost tell exactly what went on there. This other boy jumped that little bench right there. I mean, his bleacher and started. I don't know what he was doing. It's hard. Every time you look at this, you see more stuff. You see more stuff. I'm trying to see how you can zoom in on this. Let me do it like this, see if I can zoom in on it. No. It's gonna be hard. You can't zoom in on this thing. You can see. That's the one right here is the one that's doing the most. Okay. Then there's another. He's doing the most. That one right there definitely doing the most. Somebody, wait a minute, hold on. Before Karmelo started running, Karmelo was actually running off. I know, did y'all see that? Karmelo was already gone running. And the guy who was up here pushed the other guy. Now that did happen. You can see another kid pushing the other one. And why? I wonder why. At least that's what it looks like. Let's look at that one more time. Boy, I wish I could just zoom that in. You can see him, like I said, doing whatever he's doing. I don't know if that's the moment they took the book bag or not. You see a boy. It's another, I guess Karmelo somewhere up in here. And you see somebody else. This boy right here walks over there and pushes him. He pushes back. Let me see this one more time. Yeah, it looked like one of the boys pushed the other. I don't know for sure because, it's so blurry and distorted. It's hard to say. But it certainly looks it looks like it's more than one person hitting him. Could be, I know it's got to be at least 2, but it could be 3 or 4. I don't think it's more than 4. I don't think that. At least I can't see anybody else. I see the other kids tumbling over the bleachers, falling, and things of that nature. So I don't know for sure about that. Yeah, see. Plus, I see 3 people involved, 2 plus Karmelo. That's what I saw, 3. And like I said, I don't know about if it's a 4th or 5th, certainly not a 5th person or anything like that. So who is the 3rd person? Is it Eddie? Who was the 3rd person? You said Karmelo did nothing wrong. Karmelo did what he did in self-defense. I definitely agree with that. So who is the 3rd person? And another question that Jermaine asked earlier, he asked me, he was like, where is Karmelo's phone? Why wasn't included? Wasn't included in the evidence package? And if he was talking on that phone, texting, when he was texting, was he telling the person that he was texting that these guys are up here messing with me, if he was actually on the phone texting? Okay. And just say if he was, what happened to the phone? And did the defense attorney ask about the phone and check the phone out? Because if he was texting and somebody is coming over there and keep on asking you questions, it seemed like you would probably be texting, telling the person you're texting to, this kid over here, keep on asking me these damn questions over and over again, whatever. It seems like he would be, asking, saying something about it in text messaging. So we was just wondering what happened to his phone. Who was he talking to or texting? And if it's true that he was actually texting. Okay, you said Karmelo nor his lawyer ever said he was touched by anyone other than Austin. Well, the thing is, I think like when the police was questioning him, he emphasized Austin because that's the person he, abbed. I don't know what Karmelo said because I have never heard him talk about it. Okay. So I never really, like I said, heard him say anything about it. That's why I kind of wish, but some people said that would have hurt his appeal thing and all that. But if it didn't, because I know I heard lawyers say he should have testified, and they went to school for this. So if he did, if he could have testified, maybe we would have found out, all of these things, all of these questions that we want to know. I mean, we wouldn't find out all of them, but yeah. You say, I have always believed Hunter and Austin assaulted Karmelo. Hey, Miguel, thank you so much for coming back. I definitely believe that they did, okay, period. Now, what we need to find out, well, I guess not because he's already been in trial, but you just, the only thing like, okay, so if they would have said that, yeah, if they would have had evidence or, because we don't know what, honestly, we don't know with that video right there, we don't know if it is a clear video and that video that we see has been altered. That's what we don't know. Because if it was a clear video, you could see exactly what happened. So if these 2 kids came up there and, started pushing him, punching him, grabbing him, I don't know who will basically not try to defend themselves if they can't. They'll try to fight him back. And it looks like in that video, it looks like he was, I don't know if that was him or not. It looks like he was trying to, fight them back at that time because I thought I saw him push back. I don't know for sure if that was him or not. See, that video is so blurry and stuff. So he didn't do just like y'all, or they are trying to indicate like, Austin just slightly put his hand on him and told him to leave, and Karmelo was getting aggressive and reckless, and they just slightly, Austin or either Hunter just slightly put his hand, probably Austin, on his shoulder and just, pushed him back just a little, and then all of a sudden Karmelo went in his bag and pulled out his and started adding. I don't believe that went down like that. Even in that video we just saw, this video right here, you can clearly see one of those boys go over there and do something. I don't know exactly what he was doing because you can't really tell in the video, but he did something. Then he went back over there to where he was sitting at. And then the other boy is the one that started pushing Karmelo, because Karmelo was sitting down. And then it looks like Karmelo tried to push back. And then it looked like somebody else started joining in and started pushing, and they started hitting and stuff. That's what it looks like. And then I can almost see where Austin, I don't know if that was Austin for sure, okay, but someone like kind of like fell. I guess that's when Karmelo abbed him, and then Karmelo took off and started running. That's what I saw when I looked at the video. And I thought at first I saw one of those kids hit too, but I'm not sure because when I looked at it again, I didn't see the same thing. It's like I said, it's very hard. That's why I'm trying to figure out how is it that the jury feels so confident in their decision based off of this daggone video and these people who are being inconsistent with their testimonies. How? Because the thing is, I can understand that people will forget certain things, you know what I'm saying, like I said yesterday, but everybody forgets stuff, you know, and change up the story. Then Hunter told a bunch of different stories himself, you know, in those interviews. We put it in a short, okay? It's not consistent either. So it's like a lot of lies going on, just like with the coach. The coach was somebody, and I don't know for sure if it was the coach. Someone said that kids barely go underneath the other team's tents. And then the other person was like, that's not true. A lot of kids go underneath their rival team's tent. It's not uncommon or unheard of. Yeah, it would be cool if they stay under their own tent, but sometimes these kids go to other teams' tents because they know that some of the players, they talk to them, especially some of them girls may like the players, they go in and talk to them and all of that. So for that person to act like it's something that doesn't happen is cray-cray, especially when you had a girl who did not go to that school sitting underneath that tent the same day, allegedly. Okay, so it's kind of weird for me. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying up here. Hey, SAT Saturday 1241 or SAT 1241. Okay, let's see. I think there's people on YouTube preying on those that are very smart and thus causing uproar. Okay, I think there's people on YouTube preying on those that aren't very smart. See, some people on YouTube, some content creators will get up here with a bunch of false stuff, okay? Which is not cool because over here we don't try to do no false stuff. We try to do what we, looked up or saw, in the news, or what, like when we look at this video, we're just basically telling you what we see, okay? What we see, period. But I think a lot of content creators get up on YouTube and do these videos, just for views. Like I told you guys before, I've been covering this stuff since when it happened last April. That's what we do over here on our Night Owl Lives. I talk about missing kids, all types of stuff. So when this happened back in April of last year, I was right there on it, talking about it. Just like with Casey and Allison, Sonia Massey, all those people, the little Latino dude out in Hemet, California, who the police basically unalive, SHOT him down. They thought he had a GUN, but it wasn't. I cover those type of cases and stuff, and when stuff happens. So when Karmelo stuff came up, we had to talk about him along with Javion McGee, because Javion McGee, I think, is that the same year, Jermaine, when Javion was found HUNG? Is that the same year? So we cover these same things over here. So when I do lives, I'm not doing lives because I'm doing it for the views, because I don't really make much on YouTube at all. And even if I was making a lot, I would still be doing this because I want to. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing this before I even got monetized. So we don't try to do like conspiracy theories over here or lies. We try to pretty much look for proof. That's why when some people, be in the chat and they tell me certain things, I just say anything could be possible, because I'm not going to say they're lying because anything can be possible. Now, if we do know that it's not true, we will say it's not true, point blank. But over here, just like this little thing say, hold on, let me show y'all. Just like this thing up here say exposing the fables or whatever I said up here. That's what we basically do over here. We're not going to give y'all some bull crap. Okay. If Karmelo was touched by anyone more than Austin, that would have helped his case. And his lawyers would have said that for sure, even if they didn't do a great job. Well, I mean, he didn't tell them that. His defense lawyer didn't really do much anyway. Okay, so we don't know what Karmelo told him. Okay, he didn't really do much. He didn't call many witnesses. He could have called character witnesses. Okay, none of these people were called really. He could have objected to a lot of other things he didn't. So, I mean, who's to say Karmelo didn't tell him that? We don't know what Karmelo told him because we haven't heard Karmelo talk. Yeah. It looks like it was more than 2 seconds to me. I don't know why everybody keeps saying it was just 2 seconds. 2 seconds is like this. I think it was a little longer than 2 seconds. That's right. Yeah, do you think that entire altercation was just 2 seconds, Jermaine? I don't think these people know what 2 seconds is. Okay, 2 seconds is very quick. It's fast. It's fast, but I don't think it's that quick. Yeah, that's what I said. And those witnesses who are Austin's friends, all their testimonies were not consistent. And I think I stated that at first, okay, tonight. We know they did look at these videos and they heard the audios, the 911 call and all that. And it does play a role in their decision, okay? In their decision to say guilty or not guilty. Okay, so that does play a role in it. And even with the witnesses, I don't see how they could have came out and just been so confident to say guilty. Listen to all these inconsistencies. If you go read those police reports, these people are saying stuff that's different. And everybody knows that, and that's why they're doing that appeal. This whole entire trial was a hot ass mess, and we know it was. See, a lot of people are hiding behind racism. You know what I'm saying? Because they just don't like the fact that a black kid, unalived a white kid. And the thing is, people shouldn't be even looking at the race. Okay, but they do that. And a lot of racist people are using this entire situation to promote their hatred for black people. Point blank. They don't give a damn about Austin. His parents probably won't be saying anything. His parents barely talk. I don't know why y'all keep on talking about what his parents would have done. They barely talk. Okay, and they talking a little bit more now, but they wouldn't have done anything. See, thing is, the parents, Karmelo, gonna do what the lawyer tells them to do. Okay, because the lawyer may be saying to them, this may hurt the case. That's why Karmelo probably didn't testify. He probably was scared. And his lawyer, I don't know why he didn't do like a mock type of trial with him to practice. You know what I'm saying? Still let him get up on the stand and talk. I don't know why he didn't do all of that. That's what I just said. We don't know. We don't know. We're looking in from the outside, and we're basically basing what we think on what we hear the media say. Because we were not allowed to see what went on in the courtroom. No audio, no videos, no journalists could be in there, no anyone. So we don't know what went on. We don't know what real evidence they may have. We just don't know. Just like we don't know for sure if this is the only video footage. Can't no one convince me nobody else, none of those kids had their phones and recorded. Eddie allegedly stated that he was recording, but he was fake recording. Now, when have you ever heard of a kid, a teenager, fake recording? Listen, in the courtroom, if someone is trying to pull something over your head, okay, they're not going to show certain things, not even in the courtroom, okay? They're not going to show certain things because whatever they are trying to accomplish, they're going to accomplish. And you're talking about people who are in high positions, all right? So they can basically, do certain things so things can look a certain type of way to get whatever, to reach whatever goals they're trying to reach, point blank. A lot of attorneys, legal analysts feel like something was not right with this case. These people have been to college for law, got law degrees. I think they know what they're talking about versus people on YouTube, point blank, and content creators, okay? I think they know what they are talking about. That's exactly why, this team that he has right now decided to take this case because they know something is not right. That's why they are trying to use the Bastin, we call it Bastin challenge or rule. That's why they're trying to do that. And they should have looked at gerrymandering. They should have looked at that too, which I think that's still the Bastin rule. I think it's still similar to the gerrymandering. I believe so. It's similar. So that's probably why they didn't try to do that one too. But they're looking at a lot of stuff, and I went over everything last night, everything that they are trying to do. So clearly they feel like something was not right in this trial. So I don't care about what other content creators saw, okay, or what they cover, because they're not lawyers, okay, period. Just like I'm not a lawyer. All I'm doing is talking about what I think I see in this video and what I've heard. Okay, but these people have been to school for law, got law degrees and everything, and they feel like this trial was not, it could be some possible errors or some other stuff that went on. And that's why they are trying to seek an appeal, point blank, just like I said last night. Now, hold on for a second. Okay, so let me read this stuff right here that I looked up. So they said this separates the facts of the case from the widespread falsehoods. Now here are the truth. They said the verdict in June 26, a Collin County jury convicted Karmelo Anthony of murder for fatally stabbing Metcalf with a folding utility knife. Jurors deliberated for under 3 hours. Now, one attorney I was listening to said that there have been a lot of cases where the jury has deliberated under 3 hours. There have been numerous murder cases where they have done that. Okay, one day I'll look that up to see if that's true. I haven't got a chance to do it right now. Anyway, the sentencing. Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in a Texas state prison after the jury rejected a lesser manslaughter charge in a sudden passion defense. So the jury rejected both of those things, okay? Now the prosecution. Authorities argued Anthony intentionally escalated a minor physical altercation by using a deadly weapon. But when we see that footage right there, it doesn't look minor to me, okay? It doesn't. Now, the aftermath. Anthony's parents have hired new civil rights and criminal defense attorneys to handle his appeal, stating that their son is not a murderer and was defending himself. No, I don't think that was a minor physical altercation. It does not look like a minor physical altercation. A minor physical altercation would have been just simple this. They get into a bicker, they just get into an argument. Okay, maybe you see one minor small push and then they walk away. All right. So that's what the defense attorney should have been up there screaming out, saying, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the lies and misinformation, AI generated images. The internet has been flooded with fabricated content, including AI generated images purported to be Anthony crying in court or images of the people involved. So they're saying that those things are fake. Okay. So I don't know about the other picture at the gathering and all that stuff, but they're saying everything is fake, including Karmelo crying in court. Okay. Then the jury composition. Viral claims that Anthony's jury was composed entirely of white people. And this is false. We already know that they had other minorities there, but not any black people. Okay. Local authorities confirmed the jury was diverse, different ethnic groups were there. Then of fictional accounts. Anonymous social media accounts have attempted to impersonate Frisco police and city officials to spread fabricated reports regarding the victim's past or the events that transpired under the team tent. So that's why it's just good to look at the video yourself. That's why I keep showing it. I don't see some things that people are saying they saw. I just don't see it. I still, the dude that went to the garbage can could have been throwing anything in the garbage can. We don't know. Okay, we don't know what he was throwing in the garbage can when he went back there to get out. He could have been throwing anything away. He might, just like Jermaine said, he might not even have anything to do with any of this. And, kids be, when they know the police is coming or whatever cases, they could be throwing away something that they may be smoking or, I don't know, just, it could be anything. It could not even be related to anything that transpired underneath that tent. So we just don't know. Okay. We just don't know what he was doing. And as far as people saying that Karmelo was framed, Austin fell on the thing when they was in a physical altercation, I don't believe that because Karmelo said what he did. He said what he did. If he didn't do it, he wouldn't have said he did it. You see what I'm saying? Or he would have said, he fell on it or whatever the case is. He didn't say that. He said he did it. So, I don't know why people are saying all this other stuff. Okay. And then we heard people saying that, might not been his, but it was in his book bag. Okay. It was in his book bag, and the M initial could possibly stand for Mellow, because that's his nickname. Okay. Let me see what y'all are saying over here. No one could be inside of the trial. Okay. She was outside maybe, but you couldn't be at the trial itself because they were not inviting anybody in. But were they inside? Were they inside the courtroom? Were they at the actual trial on the inside? Okay, so you said we get your position. You are accurate in your statement as far as the defense not bringing. The defense was no good. Okay, I don't know why y'all keep on talking about him. That's why they're doing the appeal. He was no good. They also got that listed that the defense attorney might not have done as he should have done. I'm gonna put it like that because I don't want to say he was, BAB or something like that. So they are also bringing that up in the appeal. So if other legal analysts are saying this, it doesn't matter what YouTube people say and content creators, okay? Because these people who are legal analysts and lawyers and stuff like that, they've been to school for this. They dealt with cases like this or similar. They know this trial was not right. Oh, she was inside? Okay. And at the court, I thought you said they weren't allowing people inside for the trial. So they did allow YouTubers inside and journalists inside to see the actual trial on the inside in the courtroom of this trial they just had. I don't know. I can't really, like I said before, I don't know about the garbage can thing and what this person could have put in the garbage can. It could be anything. It's hard to say. Could have been anything. Okay, they had a limited number. So what is everybody talking about when they said they did not let anybody in to see the trial then? No cameras, no nothing. I know they can bring no cameras or anything, but what is everybody talking about when they said that no one could be inside of that courtroom? So she was the only one that was let into the actual, she saw the whole entire trial. That's what y'all trying to say. Each day she was there. And again, it doesn't really matter who was at the trial, who was in there or whatever. If they only want you to know certain things, that's what you're going to see. Okay? It doesn't matter who was in there. If someone is trying to make sure a person goes to jail because of what they did, and they feel like this young man didn't do self-defense, they can do whatever they need to do to make sure whatever goal they're trying to reach is accomplished, and it doesn't matter who sits in at the trial, because these people are not lawyers, okay? So you wouldn't really know. Okay. So why is everybody saying that no one was allowed? I know no journalist was allowed, right? But it doesn't, like I said, it really doesn't matter who was inside, because like I said before, if they have a goal in mind and already have stated in their brains that Karmelo is not getting out of here without being convicted to prison, trust me, they're going to have everything that they need in place to make sure that happens, okay? That's what they're going to do. One thing in particular would be the video right there. We don't know if there is another video. That's what they're telling us. We don't know that for sure. Okay. They said no kids had cell phones out or anything. We don't know that for sure. That's what they are telling us. We don't really know a lot for sure, because that damn video is so hard to really tell stuff 100%. You can tell a little bit more by looking at this one because it's a little clearer, but you really don't know 100%. That's how I don't understand how they just came out so quickly with guilty. So let me see who all was inside of that trial. If I can find that information, let me just check to see. Hold on. So let's see. Oh, they just limited the presence of media, okay? So they just had limited press. Only a small, restricted number of press representatives were permitted to view the proceedings in person, okay? Okay. So they're just telling you everybody who was there. Okay, so they're telling you about the jury and everything. The defendant, his family members, the victim's family, So they were in a designated public gallery. And then, like I said, limited press. Okay. What did you say? Well, they just said they had limited press. So Queen 88 was inside the thing too? Okay. So they did let limited people in there. Press, limited press. But again, it could be anybody in there. If just say if something was done, something that was done that should have been done, nobody would know, especially not know content creators or anybody like that, because they're not like into that law like that where you would basically know. It's like the errors that possibly could have been made. Everybody see, well, some people see that, but then you got some people who do not, either they don't see it or they just won't admit it. Because like I said, a lot of people are using this entire situation, to practice, their racism and stuff. So now I was going to look up something else. Let me see. They're just medium-sized platforms. Because, on YouTube, a big following would be millions and millions of people. So they're just basically medium-sized. And they are, what did Queen 88 live in? Texas? Yeah, they live in Texas. Queen 88 does. Right? Yeah. Don't she, Jermaine? I don't know about the other two. So let me look at this thing again. So let's see. Read this real quick. So his appeal thing is going to be led by Attorney Russell Wilson II. Okay, he's going to lead it. So they definitely doing that jury thing, the jury selection thing. They said that the saying that's exactly why they're going to be able to use that. Remember, I was telling you guys what the trial attorney said. He said that if Karmelo Anthony's defense attorney objected to the jury selection, putting basically eliminating the other three jurors, then they can use that in an appeal, to get an appeal. And that's exactly what they have right here written. So that's one big, huge thing they're going to be looking at. And again, let me say this. Okay, when he said he put his hands on me, I told him not to put, hold on. He said he put his hands on me. I told him not to, but he put his hands on me. The reason why he's only talking about Austin is because that's the person he asked. So therefore, that's the only person he's talking about. And like I said, we have never really heard Karmelo explain anything or talk. So we don't know. I mean, maybe at the appeal, I don't know if that will come out at the appeal, because the appeal is basically the attorneys coming in. And I went through the process yesterday, basically making their arguments and stuff, letting the appellate court know why they feel they made an error, in jury selection and all the other stuff, or everything that I told you guys about yesterday that they're trying to do. And so that's what they're going to be trying to prove. The appellate court is not getting ready to listen to evidence again and all of that stuff. Now, if Anthony wins that appeal, right, and everything goes good, then the appellate court can do a couple, I think it's 3 or 4 things. They can either leave it like it is. Okay, I forgot what you call it. I forgot the legal term for that. Or they can remand it. And I think the remand is the thing where, let me look at my notes. I think remand means they can go back and do the whole case over again. I think that's what that means. I think. Let me go look and see, because I hate when I give out wrong information. And one of them is reversed too. Let me look, because I did save that last night. Hold on, let me look that up real quick, y'all. Let me look on my phone, because I got it in my notes. We don't write anything down anymore. I still do, but on this live, I'll usually just screenshot everything. Let's see. I thought I had it up here. I might have erased it. And if not, if I did erase it, I'll just look it up online real quick. Yeah, I think I did. Hold on. Let me see if it's on my other phone. I might have erased it, but I can certainly look it up again. Oh, see, here it is right here. See, I was right. So the remand is the court sends the case back down to the lower trial court for further proceedings, new calculations, or a completely new trial. And that's where he would be able to do everything over. He can go on the stand, I'm talking about Karmelo, and testify, and it can bring in new witnesses for the defense and everything. Because he would have a new trial if they did a remand. Now, they could do a modification, and that's when the court will go in and change some things. Like, for example, if they feel like his sentence is too much, because I think they're going to be talking about that too, because there have been, they just think his sentencing, the years, 35 years is too much, because he has never been in trouble before, no criminal background. He's a good student, good person overall, worked 2 jobs, was a good student, a good child to his parents, just didn't have any negativities there, okay? And he never did any other criminal acts. Certainly he never unalived anyone. So all of that should have taken, some type of, they should have looked at that too when deciding how many years to give him. And so they're probably going to be looking at that too. And then if he does win the appeal, they can even grant a modification and reduce that sentence all the way down. Okay? Or they can reverse. So if they reverse, that's when they can overturn the original judgment. Okay? Now, if they do affirm, that means the court agrees with, the lower court's decision, and they would just leave everything like it is. But I don't see them doing the affirm. I just don't. I mean, they could, because I think it's still going to be in Texas in that part, so I don't know. But I just don't see that. I see more of probably a modification and maybe a remand. Okay? I don't know for sure if they will do a reverse. Okay, throw everything out, because I still think that they will be looking at the fact that even though, we think it's self-defense, Karmelo believes it's self-defense and all of that, they probably feel like, you could just walk away. You know what I'm saying? If he was not blocked or anything. Like when it initially started, yeah. Just like I said, that all of them could have walked away. So I don't see a reverse unless they really did some cray stuff, in the trial, and hid some things. And, it just depends on what errors the defense team will be presenting to the appellate court and what proof they have to support that. Okay? I definitely see a modification if anything is done, or maybe even a remand. So let's see. What are y'all talking about up here? Oh, let's see. Okay. If y'all was worried about people doing crimes and stuff, shit, okay. I don't even want to say anything. Yeah, one did say, but what about the other two? Mm. Hmm. Oh yeah, I know. That's why I just said that. I said that. I said, they can probably. I said I don't see them doing a reverse unless they can find some information, errors that we don't know nothing about because we're not lawyers, and they can find that and they, give it to be presented to the appellate court. Then I can see them doing a reverse then, but it's gonna have to be something major. A lot of things, a lot of errors and stuff. Like for example, if it's found out that the jury selection, how they omitted the black jurors because of racial stuff, that could be a grounds probably for a reverse. Okay. Because if you're going to do that, you could have really messed up a chance, for this kid being found not guilty or maybe even a lesser charge. Because remember, what did they say? The prosecution or the jurors, they rejected the manslaughter and the passion thing. Okay. So if they would have had, some black jurors in there, at least one, maybe that person would have seen stuff a little bit different. Okay. So that may, if they find errors there, which I think they have said that that's what they claim, the news and stuff claim that they may, use. But I definitely can see, the modification in the remand. But you never know. The reverse may, they may find that. It just depends on everything the lawyers present to the court. And yesterday I told you a whole list of stuff. I don't know what I did with it. Let's see. Because it was more than the jury thing. Let me see if this is it right here. I bet you it's not. Oh, this is something else that I'm looking at right here. Let me go and find that information again. And I did tell y'all this whole process can take up to 2 years. And I went over the whole thing last night, how long each step takes. So we calculated that could be all the way up to 2 years. So let me just tell y'all this. A lot of people were asking about the utility thing that Karmelo Anthony had, okay? And his lawyer stated the reason why he had that is because, this is why everybody kept on saying it's a tool. His lawyer said that it was a tool he brought for everyday use or potentially to sharpen track spikes. And the prosecution says that he carried it as a weapon. I don't believe that. I believe he probably did just, it could be a combination. That's what I believe. I believe that Karmelo Anthony had that utility, to do just what the defense said. And at the same time, he could have had it just for in case, somebody, put him in a position where he needs to use it. There's no crime against that. Okay. I told you this is exactly the way they got it written up. The incident unfolded in April 2025 during a verbal altercation at a Frisco, Texas track meet. After a disagreement over space under an opposing team's tent, The victim, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, pushed Anthony. Anthony then pulled the KNIFE from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf in the chest, claiming he acted in self-defense. The way they wrote that up is very biased. Okay, that's not what I saw in that video. No, we did not see that like that. So they saying that he just Austin pushed him one time, right? And then Anthony immediately pulled his KNIFE from his backpack and immediately, you know what, Metcalf in the chest. I see more pushing, more hitting or whatever, and pulling and all types of stuff underneath that tent. Right. You got that right. Basson challenge, the Brady violation, or ineffective counsel. That's right. Those are the ones. Yeah, they did say they were, but the white juror is also some type of teacher. I don't think he's in the same or she's in the same district, but he's or she is also an educator. You say you think all three will fail and there will be no appeal. Why do you think all three will fail, Jermaine? Lawyers are allowed to dismiss jurors without giving reasons and may come back and appeal, and then they would have to show the reasons was not due to race, gender, and religion. And that's what they're using. Okay, they are saying that race played a role in that. The reason why they dismissed him. Okay. Oh, I do. I mean, you can just type it up and look it up. Fox for NBC5, Dallas Fort Worth News, okay? And also News Nation. So they say he did a sneak attack. These people are just lying. I'm just looking at all this stuff, man. I'm just looking at new stuff here. A sneak attack. So they saying that he did a sneak attack. It doesn't look like a sneak attack from what I just saw on that video. Hold on. So they also showed prosecution demonstrated how quickly what could be open at the trial too. They showed that. Oh man, this is crazy. Let's see what else here. I made a mistake, got off the thing. So that's where those came from. Yeah, like I said, this whole entire trial is just something just is not right with this. Okay, so you said the story was that Karmelo had his hand in his bag with his hand on that K, and they said 10 to 15 times, get out, and he said, touch me and find out, had him guessing. Well, I mean, clearly they must have threatened him and said that they were going to touch him, because why would he say, touch me and find out? He just would have said, keep on talking to me and find out. He would have said, touch me, if they did not threaten that they were going to touch him. Okay, as far as him having his hand in the bag, he probably did. Because you see two big ass boys walking up on you and you know what you got in your bag, you probably will have your hand in your bag. But check this out. If they would never touched them and they would have backed off, especially after asking him 10 to 15 times, they wouldn't have had to worry about him pulling anything out of his bag. Okay? If somebody, let me tell y'all something. If somebody is telling you, if you got to tell someone 10 times to leave, why on earth would you be standing there and keep saying it? Clearly, they don't want to leave. So that should have indicated to Austin and Hunter, or even Eddie, to go get the coach or some other adult. Because why would you have to keep standing there telling somebody 10 to 15 times to get out from underneath the tent? And another thing, why was it so pressing for him to leave from under that tent anyway, when there was another chick underneath the tent that did not go to that school either? And also, Eddie is the one who invited him there. So why was it so pressing for them to make Karmelo leave when Eddie is the one who said he could be there? And why didn't Eddie, I don't know if Eddie said this or not, but I'm just asking, why didn't Eddie say to Austin and Hunter, I called him over here, this my bro, he cool? And he should have said that. Okay, he should have said, I'll beat your ass. That's why that dude said what he had to say. I know kids, I know good and daggone well, it wasn't just like these, all of them saying it was. They're going to be bickering back and forth at each other, probably making threats. Okay, let's keep it real. That's why he said, touch me and find out. Okay, where Karmelo messed up at is the fact that he should have got his ass up and walked away too. Okay, let's keep it real. Because, and let me stress this again, Austin and Hunter, you got to ask them somebody more than 3 times to leave. You shouldn't be standing there saying it 10 to 15 times. See, the reason why he was saying it 10 to 15 times because they were in an argument, right? So all of them was going back and forth with each other. You can kind of somewhat see that. You can't hear them, but you can see from the way all that movement is going around underneath that tent. You know, one person came over there by Karmelo, and then he went back over there. Looks like he sat back down. I don't know for sure, but it looks like. Okay, so that indicates that they were in an argument then. Then you see the boys on the other side over there, and then another boy standing in front of Karmelo, at least it looks like it. You can tell they are bickering then, okay? So 10 to 15 times, how long does it take someone to say, get out the tent, 10 to 15 times? At least, I don't know how long it takes, but it takes more than 2 seconds, 3 seconds, than any type of seconds, okay? And if you got to ask Karmelo more than 3 times, I really feel like somebody should have went and got the coach. And Austin said, I'll beat your ass. And that's why that dude said, touch me and see what happens. And then I don't know if they grabbed the bag. They had to grab the bag first. Okay, so when he grabbed the bag, I'm wondering, when he grabbed the bag from Karmelo, if Karmelo had his hand on it, you know what? When he grabbed the bag, that's when the KNIFE was exposed. And in what's name, got Ab. That's when he abbed him, when he grabbed the bag and started pushing him and whatever happened in between that time. That's why I wish we did have actual video to see all of this. And another thing too, I wonder again if Karmelo was actually texting on his phone. What happened? Did he put the phone up? Did they take the phone or what? Did he drop his phone? Did he manage to record anything on his phone? Or did he tell the person he was texting that they up here, telling me to leave or what? And I still ask another question. Why didn't Eddie say a goddamn thing? But we don't know for sure. He could have told them something. He could have said to Austin and Hunter, yo, this is my friend right here, or yo, he cool. And they could have just we still don't want him over here. And why were they so into not wanting Karmelo there? Okay. Maybe when they first asked Karmelo what's his name, and if he did say this, I'm nobody, don't worry about it. Maybe they didn't like that. And that's where you got that ego and entitlement comes in at. Well, why he's saying that to me? He can't talk to me like this. And then, what school you go to, and you find out you don't go to this school. So why the hell you over here then? Get your ass away from over here. And then Karmelo probably was like, who they think they are telling me to leave? Because he already knows that other kids go to other teams' tents at times. So he probably trying to figure out why they all up on me like that. So it's more than what they're telling people, okay? And let's keep it real. Collin County is known for racism, okay? So therefore, a lot of people there probably didn't like the fact that this black kid unalived this white kid. Let's keep it real. I don't know why you guys keep ignoring that. No, I don't think that's the reason why he stayed. He stayed because he didn't want that boy telling him what to damn do. Okay, remember, black people, just like some white people feel like they, are entitled to do certain things and to tell black people what to do. Well, Karmelo probably did not like that. That's why he stayed. It ain't because he got no KNIFE film. Like it gave him power not to leave. What are you talking about? He probably, his ego, just like their ego and entitlement. Please, listen. I can imagine in my mind how all of that played out. I really can. And I just know these boys were bickering like hell at each other. Okay. Remember this. Karmelo wasn't messing with anyone. He was sitting there chilling with Eddie. I don't know why you guys keep on overlooking that. Hunter came his ass over there and started talking to Karmelo. Okay. Once he started asking him what was his name and all that, if Karmelo answered that question in a rude way, that should have indicated to Hunter then to go and seek help from the coach. Since him being underneath that tent, got on their nerves that much. See, what it was is that the way Melo answered Hunter, that probably pissed Hunter off. Okay, let's keep it real. And then, clearly they get into an argument, and then Austin, seeing his brother in the argument, comes over there to help out to see what was going on. So when they walk up on him, they big and all that, then Karmelo is like, getting prepared just in case they try to, do something to him. And so I don't know, if Hunter or Austin said, I'll beat your ass right then and there. And then that's when Karmelo would have said, touch me and see what happens. Touch me. Because I don't see no reason he would say, touch me, if they didn't say anything about touching him first. Because that would be like, a little off. If all of a sudden you just say, well, touch me and see what happens. And nobody indicated that they're going to touch you. Because even if Hunter was like, you don't go to school, you got to leave this tent. I just don't see Karmelo saying, well, touch me and see what happened. I believe other things were said, and then it may be threats, and then he said to him, touch me and see what happens. So by that time, it was too late. Things have gotten even more heated, and then there you go. So when he said, touch me, see what happened, they thought he was joking, so they touch him. And that may have been when they grabbed that bag, and when they grabbed the bag, he had his hand on that, and it came on out, and he used it. Okay? And probably something like that. Yeah, the one that said hard time putting a brother in jail, which is stupid for him to say that, he's going to be omitted, Like I said, I've been selected for a jury like 3 or 4 times. I didn't even tell them my new address because I got tired of them sending me stuff, to get on jury and stuff. So each time, though, I was like an alternate. So I used to have to call in, and check every day. You have to call in by a certain time to check in to see if they need you to come in. And I was so damn happy that we were never needed, because I did not want to sit on that damn jury. Okay, because the first thing I'm saying to myself, I don't know who I said it to. I was like, so they get a chance to see us, and we are both, we're saying they're guilty or not guilty, and it was a criminal trial. And I was like, I do not want to do this. I sure don't, because I'm thinking, at first I was thinking maybe this is a criminal, it was an murder trial, they would like have us in a different area. And I'm like, I don't want him to see me, okay, and thinking I'm saying guilty. So I was so happy that, they didn't need us. But my daughter, she was on the jury because they did need her. Okay, but yeah, I don't really want to do it. Unless it's like a little simple a misdemeanor or something like that, but not no felonies. Some of these people are cray, man. They see how you look. They may can't do it because they be incarcerated, but they can get somebody else to do something to you. So I was so happy they did not, tell me to come in. You have to call them. I forgot what time you have to check every night at a certain time to see if you have to come in the next day, and then they don't pay you shit really, so I was like, I don't know about this. So I haven't given them my new address yet, because I don't want to be chosen again, but eventually I will change my address and stuff so they can send me another one, so I can actually sit in and see how it feels. Okay, the 3 black jurors were women. Okay, the educators were women. So the one who said this was a male, right? So he was a different one from the 3 black educators. Okay. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know why people say that all the time. That doesn't mean anything to me. If these black witnesses are friends with Austin, they're going to take up for him. I don't care about that. Eddie is mixed, right? Okay. Allegedly he called Karmelo over there, right? Or text him or whatever. Okay. Once the situation happened, Eddie is one of the people who ran after Karmelo and said that he was going to unalive him, allegedly, because Austin was his bro. So that doesn't mean anything if somebody is black. Shit. That's what I was saying about the jury thing. I said just because if that move that they did was stupid, because they should have had a black person up there on the jury. Just because you got a black person on the jury, it doesn't mean that black person is going to automatically say not guilty. Because if that black person would have seen the same information that everybody else saw there, okay, they could have very well said the same thing. We don't know. It's just the fact that if it was a black person up there, this black person will have a better understanding of the things that Karmelo was saying. His culture and all that type of stuff. Okay. So you said if one of those 3 black educators is a teacher of cosmetology, not sure if that is verified, it may not be good enough for a dismissed reason. You said, do you have a witness list and the race of the witnesses and their professions? Oh, we know that. So what? So what? He said y'all team is ass. Who cares? That is no reason for someone to be like doing the most. You know how many times people talk about other people, football teams and basketball teams and drill teams and all types of stuff. So what? He said y'all team is ass. That's how they usually talk. They usually mess with each other like that and talk about each other like that. Like I said, I think this whole thing was blown out of proportion, and I think that a lot of egos, were broken, and I think it was some entitlement going on there. This is just, I don't know, because this is what people are saying on the internet. Like I said, when I was looking at the video, it looks like something was grabbed, but I'm not sure. Okay, when the dude went over there and sat back down, I'm not sure, 100% sure, because that video, you know, ours is a little bit more clear, but it's still, it's still blurry. Oh, that's right. Hunter did say, that's right. And we got the video. You want to see it? He said, that's right. Hunter said that Austin grabbed his bag. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know why Hunter did not want Karmelo underneath that tent, because Hunter and his brother were both friends with Eddie, and Eddie is the one allegedly who invited Karmelo to the tent. It started making me think about Eddie. I mean, I'm not gonna say what I was thinking, okay, but it made me start thinking things about him, because why on earth would Hunter go off like that about Karmelo being underneath that tent? Why even question him or anything? That's weird to me. Very strange. Yeah, he did. And just so y'all can know, let me show y'all that video real quick. Okay, hold on. Let me mute this. I got the video. Hold on. Honestly, if just say if he does get a retrial, I know you don't think he will, Jermaine, but just say he does. If he does, I hope he get a very good defense team, okay? And I hope that they really, really investigate people thoroughly and make sure that they have everything they need to prove that this was self-defense or negligent homicide. Now, let me go over here and get this video real quick, because I'll be forgetting what I'm going to do, because y'all know it's getting late. Every time we get late, man, I'll be on a whole other level. Let's see. Okay, let me see here. Okay, we got to do this. And what did I just say? We're going to look at the Hunter video. I think that's on Pressure Point. Let me go to Pressure Point. Let me go to my YouTube page first. Actually, I think you can just, hold on, let me go to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's do, there's Pressure Point right there. Let's go to it. So let's go to the shorts. I think it's on the shorts, right, Jermaine? Okay.
He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more like higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff. Also try to handle the problem. And yeah.
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the
He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more like higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff. Also try to handle the problem. And
he started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more like higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff. Also try to handle the problem. And
Austin should have handled the problem by going to.
Austin was always one to step up.
let me do this. So let me tell you something. How I know that more stuff was happening is this. If they were being, if this was a calm situation like they tried to pretend like it was, Austin would have never felt like he needed to come over there. Okay? He wouldn't have came over there in his little, in his state that he was in. He wouldn't have came over there to handle the problem. Okay? So we already know that Karmelo and Hunter were arguing. He was asking him to leave, and Karmelo was like, "Make me leave." Okay? And instead, Hunter should have stopped right then and there and just said, "Okay, cool," and went to get the coach, point blank. Just like I said before, when initially Hunter started asking him who he is, and he said, I think that's what they say he said. I don't know if he said this for sure. "I'm nobody." And if he asked him again, "Who are you?" and he wouldn't tell him his name or whatever, or if he asked him what school he went to, and he told him that he don't supposed to be underneath here, and he said he's not going to leave, Hunter should have went and got the coach. He should have told his brother when his brother was coming over there, he should have just said, "Go get the coach." That's it. It would have been just that simple. This right here could have been avoided all the way around. This is just a simple, like kids do, get into it. They don't want him underneath the tent for whatever reason. We would never know unless Karmelo started talking. Okay, he didn't want him underneath the tent for whatever purpose. He didn't like the way Karmelo was answering him. Let's keep it real. That's that entitlement there. And also, kids, some kids be like that as well. Feel like you can't talk to them any kind of way or whatever the case is. Let's keep it real. And then things got out of hand. Like he just said, it started getting a higher intensity. And I guess when he was saying your team is ass, that's reckless talking. Let me tell you something. In the real, in regular, like when you do, big league sports and stuff like that, when you're on a professional sporting team, some of those players talk reckless about, the other people's teams. That doesn't mean you start fighting. It doesn't mean you start fighting. Or you should fight. Sometimes they do fight, but usually when they do that, they get fined or other things happen to them. So that doesn't mean you start, doing the most. It's not a ticket for you to start doing the most. And I guarantee you, if the shoes would have been reversed, y'all wouldn't be on these damn channels debating the damn thing. You would be saying that this boy did act in self-defense, and that's the way y'all would be saying it. And I know one of the primary reasons why a lot of people are pissed is because this black boy unalived this white kid. Even the way they wrote it up in the thing, there is no way in that video we just saw, it does not look like he just started talking to him or whatever the case is, and then he just went in his bag and put out something. No, you seen the pushes and everything, and the punches, and the grab, all of that. You seen all of that. And just like I said, when he got that bag, his hand probably was on that KNIFE. When he grabbed the bag from him, that's going to be revealed. They probably, because I don't think Austin saw that KNIFE, or he could have seen it and tried to take it from him. Who knows? And got stabbed. Because we just don't know exactly what happened. In that video right there, you can't tell exactly every little thing they were doing. Okay. It looked like they were fighting, basically. And then I saw Austin like fall down or something. And then clearly he got back up and started running and realized, I guess he was out and fell or something like that. I don't know. What's up, young Riz? Thank you so much for being here. How you doing? Right, and that's another thing. Let's see what y'all saying. That was a hard push. You can see it in the video. So y'all telling me, well, let's just get some truth right here in this live tonight. So y'all telling me if you are out, okay, let's put it like this. You are at a game, right? And you're grown, you're at a game, and you play on a team, and you're sitting under the other team's tent, right? Talking to your friend because your friend invited you over there. Then all of a sudden, the person who the tent belongs to, because that's their team, come over and be like, "What's up, dude?" or "What's up, chick? You go to the school?" or you go to the school, and then you be like, "No," and then he be like, "Well, so why are you underneath here?" Get him down well. Majority of y'all gonna be like, "Because I want to be over here." And then he'll tell you, "Well, you're not supposed to be over here." And then you may say, "Well, I'm sitting here." And he said, "Well, you're going to have to leave." And then you're going to say, "Make me leave." "Oh, I'll make you leave." "I bet you won't." And then y'all get into an altercation. And then say that person got a brother. He see y'all in an altercation. He going to come over there and try to join in. By this time, you already getting scared because you're like, "Oh, so they're going to try to jump me, huh? So I'm going to show them they're not going to be jumping me." Okay? And you're not going to try, you'll try to fight back, but getting damn well, you're probably not going to win because it's two big ass people. Okay? It's two, period. Even if they was little, it's 2-on-1. So, y'all bickering, the brother comes over there. From looking at that video, you can tell that some pushes, some hits, it looks like, you can't tell 100%, but it looks like some punches or whatever were thrown. And I thought I see even Karmelo, trying to push back or whatever the case is. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying that's what it looks like to me. So y'all doing all of these things. When he took the bag, say the person take the bag from you, you got your hand on the KNIFE, because once, the person who was arguing with you at first, once his brother comes over there and start, you put your hand in the bag, on your weapon just in case. And then when he took the bag, your hand is going to come out with the weapon. And then I don't know if he saw the weapon or not. And then that's when what's the name? I don't know. They got into some more pushing matches or whatever happened. I don't know what happened in between there because you can barely tell. Okay, all I saw after that is I think Austin at that time might have fell back down or something. May have fell down. The next thing I see, Karmelo gone. But I will say this. When he pushed him, that was not a light push. Okay, again, it looks like punches were thrown. I'm not sure 100%. And I don't even see how any jury could tell 100%, not even 80%, not even 90%, not even 75%. You really just can't tell if those were punches. We know the pushing. We know the pulling, the pushing, and all of that. And even before the punching and pushing started, if I recall this correctly, okay, I don't know if that was Hunter who or somebody else walking over to what appeared to be Karmelo sitting down. Something happened right there. Okay, something happened right there. At first, I thought maybe he took the book bag then, but I doubt that because when he took the book bag is when the stabbing happened. Okay, so something else happened right there at that point because that kid went back over there and sat down. And then when he went over there and sat down over there by Karmelo, that's when something transpired. And I think that's when he was taking that book bag right then and there. Okay, and that's when everything popped off right there. But stuff was already somewhat popping off before that because you saw that other kid, whoever that was, walking over there too, would appear to look like he could be walking over there to where Karmelo was sitting at, and he did something. And then he went back over there and sat down. That's what I saw. And then that's when the other kid, whichever one it was, probably Austin, looks like that could have been an area where I saw that movement. He was taking it back. Okay. And they were basically fighting right there. And then that's when he probably took, because he had his hand on it, and that's when it came out and he did what he did. And I don't think he just went in his bag and just abbed like they try to put it. It was a whole fight. That's what I'm trying to say, a whole fight. That's what it looked like to me. Maybe not like a throw down type of fight like that, but it was still a fight. And you got two people on one. Listen, again, as I was saying before, if somebody pushes you out in public, what are you going to do? You're going to push them back? I don't know if you're a girl or a dude. So say you out in public at the grocery store and somebody get teed off at you because you cut in front of them, right? And, you know, most people do carry something in their purses or in their pockets or in their leg, you know, their sock or around their waist, okay? So you get into, you're in the line in the supermarket, right? And someone start, you know, bickering with you. Y'all get into an argument. Then all of a sudden that person pushes you enough where you move. So what would you do? And if you have a weapon on you, and just say that person friend walk up as well and start coming at you too. So what would you do? And be honest about it. What would you do? Because I tell you what, most people would do. A lot of people, if they're in a line or anywhere, okay, and a person pushes them, first and foremost, they start arguing with them. You may argue back with them for a while or whatever the case is, but if they start doing threats, that's going to escalate stuff, okay? And then if they start putting their hands on you or get into your personal space, it's really going to escalate things. And when they start pushing you, whether it's hard as hell or just slightly hard, you're going to be like, what? Okay. And then they friend walk up and try to help them. If you have a weapon of any sort, you know, good and damn well, you're going to be trying to use it because you're thinking these people may try to unalive you. That's what most people would do. Only some people will basically try to defuse the situation from the start. But for the most part, a lot of people would be like, you know, bickering right back and forth with the person. And then it just escalates into something more. But I don't know too many people who would take a push, okay, because you can actually push somebody hard enough where they can fall. And then when they fall, you and your friend can get on them and beat the hell out of them. And see, that's how he probably was thinking. So you have to look at stuff in more than one way. And, you know, like I have said many times before, it's very, very sad that this young man got his life taken over some foolishness. And it's also sad how people sit around and condone any of this behavior. Because in all honesty, the coach should have been called from the start. Okay? When it first happened, let's keep it real. When it first happened, I don't know if Karmelo did not want to answer the question or he answered it in a way that was not, you know, nice or whatever. Okay, so that should have been an indication to go get the coach, someone who's equipped to handle this and can definitely, you know, make him leave if that's what the coach wanted to do. And I don't know why people can't say that. And until you guys can start thinking like that and say that, you're going to have many more situations like this. And hopefully your kids won't be involved in nothing like this. Because you got to teach your kids how to back off. Okay? Either one of them could have backed off, not just Karmelo. And I hate when y'all say that. Because if Karmelo isn't the one who came there questioning anyone, he wasn't bothering anyone. He was sitting there chilling with his so-called friend Eddie. If Hunter and Austin had a problem with him sitting there, they should have gotten the coach, point blank. And no, I'm not saying it's right for Karmelo to use a KNIFE because that's just something that shouldn't happen either, period. Okay, so what y'all talking about? Okay. The thing about it, people who carry GUNs, if you put them in a situation where they feel threatened, they don't give a damn if you have anything or not. They're going to use what they got. It's just like all the self-defense I have ever had to do. I don't give a damn what somebody got. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. If they're putting me in jeopardy where I feel like they can unalive me or seriously hurt me, I'm using whatever I got to use. And that's why every time I have defended myself, it was always self-defense. Ain't nobody gonna sit up here and let nobody unalive them or hurt them. I don't know what planet y'all live on. That's why you got to teach your kids not to mess with people. Okay, if they have a position where they need to enforce something, if they try to enforce something and somebody does not want to cooperate, then you do what people do who own stores. You go call the proper people to enforce it. That's why a lot of store people call security or the police, because we're not risking our lives for bull crap. This young man is gone now, and I don't care how many lives we do, how many appeals or whatever, he is not coming back. And that's what y'all need to get through y'all heads when y'all sit up here with all these excuses. The thing is that none of this should have happened because any one of them could have gotten the coach. All these egos and everybody want to look, like they tough and all this other stuff. I don't know if everything was just pushes. You can't tell me what all I saw in that video. That's what you saw, okay? You can't tell me what I saw, okay? I really don't know. I'm thinking that maybe he had, I know you're talking to Jermaine, but I'm also answering these questions too. I really don't know for sure myself. I mean, I'm thinking he could have put his hands in the bag when Austin walked over there. And then when he grabbed the bag, maybe his hand was in it and, holding it. I don't know. That's hard to say because even in the video, when you watch the video, it just doesn't even, honestly, what they saying, it doesn't even go with the video. Do you think what they said it goes with the video, Jermaine? And that's nothing. Neither one of these kids, these young men testify. If he does get a retrial, I hope they put Hunter on that damn stand as well. And the defense attorney better cross-examine his ass like what? Okay, and Karmelo needs to be on that stand too, because I want to hear him talk about this, and I want him to say exactly what happened. Yeah, they don't even mention that, but Hunter mentioned it. So that's what I said. They don't, don't add everything. Listen, if he already had that thing in his bag, it probably be in his bag all the time. Okay, we just don't know. This is something that you have to ask Karmelo, and we don't know the reason why he carries anything because he never spoken out. We don't know what he could have experienced, before, with all these black kids getting, stopped and all sorts of stuff. No telling. You know what I'm saying? That's a question you really got to ask Karmelo because he is the only one that can really answer that. If two people come up there, well, you're going to get your ass beat or unalive. If two people come up to you at a grocery store and try to fight you, so you're going to fight both of them. You're just going to fight them. And you don't know what they may do to you. In this day and time, if two people walking up on you trying to fight you, because if I think if they wanted to be fair, it'd just be one-on-one. But if two people trying to fight you, child, more than likely they're trying to do some damage. Okay? They're trying to do some real damage to you. So let me put it like this. So if a dude come up to you, okay, let me use this then. If a dude come up to you in the supermarket, right, and he start calling you B-I-T-C-H if you're a female and saying the most to you and stuff, okay, you don't say anything back to him, okay, but he still go on and on and on. And then he basically push you. And then once you get pushed, you're going to go back. And then he comes over there to you and start holding his hand back like he's ready to punch you, and he actually does do it. What are you going to do if you have a weapon in your bag and you can get it in your purse? What would you do? Would you stand there or lay there and let them punch you and keep on hitting you and possibly hurt you really bad or unalive you, or what? Well, you know what? You got some cases where people do get this unalived in the grocery store and all types of stuff. Okay? A lot of things sounds crazy, but people do it all the daggone time. The thing is, I don't know too many people who let two people walk up to them and start hitting them. All right? You may take a chance with one person, maybe, but in this world today, people, even one person, will walk right up to you if you're doing the most with them, and they will unalive you right there on the spot, whether it's a supermarket, a church, hell, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. And if I thought like that, damn, there's so many times I probably would have been in situations and got hurt and wouldn't even be here today. The only person who did the right thing in any situation that I know of is the dude at the ATM machine. He did the right thing. He didn't escalate anything. He de-escalated it by not saying a damn thing. Okay? But if somebody walks up to you and start threatening your life, basically, you would be a damn fool not to try to do anything, even if it's just to run. Okay? Because people will unalive you these days. And I have seen so many men beat the living hell out of a woman who just stands there and look and think, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And just like this man unalive them. Who rolled down? Let's see. Y'all got me looking up all this stuff. Hold on. Let's look it up. And I'm not saying that every time somebody walk up to you, you just take out a weapon because you're going to go to jail. I'm saying when you know your life is in jeopardy. If a man walking up to you, pushing on you and punching you, your life is in jeopardy. Okay, if two women walk up to you, one first and then the other one come over there and start joining in, pretty much, I mean, you can go ahead and fight them, but you're probably going to be in jeopardy. You know, but at least with the two women, it depends on their sizes. You may can win that fight. I just don't know. Some of these women go and get weapons, so it's hard to say. Okay, so it said Wohl, I guess that's his name, is currently awaiting a judge's decision on whether he will face a retrial for reckless manslaughter and assault charges stemming from the 2022 fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Jimmy McGrath at a Shelton, Connecticut house party. So he was acquitted of murder last year, but the jury DAD locked on lesser charges. So who is this dude? Hold on, let's see this. So anyway, in 2022, a fight broke out at a preppy party, during which Val, who was 16 at the time, used a pocket, you know what, to defend himself against a group of people. And that resulted in the unaliving of 17-year-old James Jimmy McGrath and injuries to 3 other teens. In 2025, at the trial, after admitting to the stabbing but claiming self-defense, Val was found not guilty of murder and intentional manslaughter. However, the jury DEAD, I'm so sick of YouTube, y'all, locked on lesser charges, leading to a partial mistrial. Prosecutors immediately refiled locked charges, including reckless manslaughter and first-degree reckless assault. So some recent developments. In June 2026, Val's attorney, Darnell Crossland, appeared in Milford Superior Court to argue that the remaining charges should be dismissed. He cited double jeopardy, arguing that the jury's prior acquittal on murder indicates they recognize Val acted in self-defense. The judge is reviewing the arguments. It has 90 days from the hearing to issue a ruling. So who is this guy? This is him right here. The white kid. He's white, right? Yeah, he is. His attorney is black, though, I think. Yeah. So he was found not guilty of murder and intentional manslaughter last July. And then he was acquitted of the most serious charges from the 2022 altercation. But now he faces new charges. But now they're trying to, dismiss those charges, right? And his attorney said if they retry that case, it would violate the law. It could be considered double jeopardy. The Constitution bars defendants from being prosecuted twice for the same crime. Let's see what you got to say down here. I said at the supermarket, I said, what if you're a girl, what if the woman push you? And then I say her friend comes over because she see y'all get into an altercation, even though you're not hitting her back or anything, you're just basically bickering with her. Her friend comes over and start getting into it. She started pushing you too and possibly hitting you. What would you do? That's what I said. And then they both walk up, they both walking up on you. See, you don't know. See, the thing is, we know what happened we think we know with Karmelo and Austin and Hunter stuff. But when you're in that position yourself and one person walking up on you, pushing you or whatever the case is, and then a friend comes over there and join in, you don't know what these people are going to do to you. And at that particular time, you may not go in your bag. You may not, but some people will, because when you get scared and you think somebody's trying to do something to you, you start thinking about staying safe and staying alive. Okay, point blank. You said, no. If it depends on the situation. Okay, if you're in the supermarket and y'all get into an argument and they start shoving you, and the other person come over there and join in and start shoving you, hitting you and things of that nature, and you go in your bag and you ab them, you probably won't be going. That could be looked at as self-defense. So this case right here, okay, involved a white kid. I don't know what color the other kid was that he abbed with a pocket, what I'm talking about too, at a house party, some type of preppy party. I don't know what they got into it about though. So they did they're awaiting a judge's decision on whether he will face a retrial on lesser charges, including reckless manslaughter. And he fatally abbed this little kid, 17 years old, at a house party. So they basically looked at this case like they should have. Okay, they handled this case like they should. Just looking at all this stuff right here. And that's what they usually do. And the reason why I said it, because I've been in encounters, okay? When people, see, it's easy for people to say what they're not going to do if they're not in that same situation. If somebody walks up on you, even in the supermarket, you can probably pretty much bicker back with the one person, okay, until they start invading your personal space and start pushing on you. Some people will let you push them and damn near unalive them, okay? But when a second person walks up and start, getting involved, with it. I don't know. People do different things. It just depends on the person. People do different things. But if you did go in your bag and pull out a weapon like a KNIFE, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how they look at that. But I see that as being self-defense. If two people are up on you fighting you and you didn't start it or anything else, and they came at you. Now, if you started it and all that, it's different. But if they come at you and you didn't start anything and you try to get out the situation, yeah, I see that as self-defense. But they do escalate, and that's good that happened that way for you. I also was in an incident, but it was with a dude. And I didn't let him hit me no bunch of times. I'm going to be perfectly honest. He hit me one time and got himself effed up. And it was self-defense. Okay? I mean, granted, it was a guy. Okay, it was a guy. But he got himself effed up. And I didn't let him hit me numerous times. So that's what I'm telling you. I just think it depends on the situation and just how you handle stuff. So I guess that really wasn't a fair question because everybody handled stuff differently. Me personally, I'm not letting two women walk up on me because I already know what could happen. Okay, point blank, I'm gonna be like, you better step up, step back. Okay, you better step back. I'm gonna be warning that person. And that's it. The only time I can feel like people should risk going to jail is when you are defending yourself or your kids or another family member. Okay? Yeah, this case right here is a trip. We should have talked about this one because this is a perfect example of a lot of things. Okay? And his case is lasting a long time too. I wanted the jury, well, they rocked on the lesser charges. Okay, I wonder how long did it take them to go through the whole process. And this happened way back in 2022, and it's 2026. 4 years later. And they're still waiting on the judge, right? That's what we looked at a few minutes ago. That's what I said. So the guy he Ab and unalive, is that guy white or black? Let me look him up. Let me look this young man up right here and see if I can pull him up. Hold on. Oh, it's another little white kid. So this is a high school athlete during a fight at a house party. Let's go into more detail. Let's see this. So he was 16 at the time of the Abbey, okay? And the other little kid who he unalive was 17 years old. And they also found him not guilty of lesser assault charges related to 3 other teenagers who were injured in the Abbey. So they acquitted him. But y'all want to single out. That's what really trips me out, because people will single out Karmelo Anthony in this case, but they overlook all these other cases that are similar. Yeah, I already got a picture of him. So he was found not guilty on murder and involuntary manslaughter charges. I know that victim's parents feel like, what? He pleaded not guilty too. So they did try him as an adult too, okay? When he was 16. So they did a mistrial because the jury could not reach verdicts on the lesser assault charges related to 3 other teenagers. And you know what? Let me just tell y'all the story real quick. So anyway, Val, I guess that's how you pronounce his last name. He McGrath, a junior at Fairfield College Preparatory School, multiple times, not one time, multiple, at a house party in Shelton, Connecticut on May the 14th, 2022. Val's defense claimed he acted in self-defense during a fight in which 3 other teenagers were but they survived. So were they jumping him? So anyway, on the stand, he did take to the stand too. I told you, Karmelo should have been on that stand. Val was emotional and admitted to the abuse, but said he did not intend to fight, adding that he felt overwhelmed. And then Val's attorneys kept his hand on his client's shoulder as the verdict was read. And this kid also rejected a 40-year plea deal. He rejected that. Anyway, the victim's father said this: I was extremely confident, probably overconfident. I'm shocked. I'm shocked right now of the verdict. Okay? He said, I don't believe Val woke up Saturday morning and said he was going to unalive Jimmy. I never believed that. They did not know each other. So they got into a physical altercation. He said, I'm just in shock that an innocent young man with a brilliant potential is not with us anymore. And the person who took his life is right now free tonight. But I bet you he didn't get up on social media doing the most and talking about all white people and their cultures and, just saying stupid stuff and doing 50,000 interviews. Because I didn't even know anything about this right here. Thanks, Jermaine. Now he, like I said, he abbed this kid multiple times, and they just had a fight, a physical fight. That's why I was just telling you, Sat, people look at stuff differently. Okay, clearly this kid, I don't know, he looked at everything differently and thought his life was in jeopardy, I guess. And he abbed this kid multiple times. Anyway, the homeowners, too, are facing legal actions for allowing the party where minors were being served alcohol. Okay? So they also could possibly be going up, getting charges as well. And then Val got some civil lawsuits related to James unaliving, while a retrial on separate assault charges is still possible. But his other stuff, he was acquitted on the murder and the manslaughter charge. The retrial, if I'm reading this correctly, is going to be on the separate assault charges. It could be. That's a prime example of things work differently for certain people. Multiple times he stabbed this kid, 17 years old, and Val was only 16 when he did this. They got into an altercation at the house party, and these are some kids who went to preparatory school. So it sounds like they pretty much come from wealthy families. So what y'all think about that? The jury, Ed locked on everything. Then he got a what did they say, a mistrial or something like that. What y'all think about all that? So like I said, the justice system certainly is not fair. Now I'm going to keep this so we can talk about this another day in more detail. Let me just say this to myself. And I guarantee you can find many stories like this. Many. Huh? Read your last message. Hold on. Wait a minute. You said, let me read yours first. You said the Val jury said it's acquittals on the intentional charges were based on the prosecution's failure to prove intent, other than an affirmative finding of self-defense. So they failed to prove intent. And when you have adequate defense attorneys who do their job. Read my last, stat. Oh, well, you said I was in that position. I took out a knife. I gotta stop saying stuff on here. I took out a KNIFE, sorry YouTube, but I didn't have to. All I did was make one of them get real exited. Oh, you got a KNIFE. I regret pulling that. Luckily, I decided to walk away. Well, sometimes you can use, weapons to scare people off. Okay. Fortunately, every time I pull one out, because I don't usually pull out a weapon unless I'm in fear for my life, I had to use one. Okay. And it was self-defense, but sometimes you can scare people and they will see stuff and go. And I honestly think that when Karmelo was telling them, see what touch me again, found out what's going to happen, he probably was trying to scare them, thinking that they'll back off. Okay, period. But of course, they thought he was lying. That's what they said. They thought he was lying. And, and he wasn't. Okay, so you really just can't. When people tell you they got a weapon, you just really need to listen to it. Just like when they pull out one. You shouldn't be trying to act like you're bad and still walk up on them because they may use it. Because remember, when people get scared, even if they're not planning on using something, they may use it. So you was fortunate. But sometimes when people get scared, even if they're not planning on using something, they still use it anyway. And then also, especially in today's world, you can pull out whatever you want to. Some people don't even be scared. They still walk up on you. They will still walk up on you. The day when that dude broke into my house, when I lived in Atlanta back in 93, when he broke into my house, when I called him in the act, and then my daughter, came in the room right after me. And then the dude, me and him got into it first, and then my daughter jumped in it or whatever. He twisted my daughter's arm. So he didn't think I was going to go and get a weapon either. Okay, he thought I was going to be like a lot of women, and I just wasn't. He didn't realize all the stuff that I've been through in Cleveland and stuff when I lived in Cleveland, with my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend and stuff. He didn't realize everything I went through with him, and I wasn't scary like that. And so he called my bluff too when he kept on, doing what he was doing and wouldn't stop, twisting my daughter's arm and stuff. He got himself effed up. So the thing is, if people tell you they're going to do something to you, or they act like they're going to do something, or they're going to get something, you should stop whatever you're doing and get the hell out of there. Period. So the thing is, like I said, that situation right there, you was pretty blessed because all you had to do was take it out and make their butt leave. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes that do work, and sometimes it just doesn't. And what year was this when you had to do that? Some people it does. I mean, like if you had to pull out a weapon many times, stop. Y'all look these shades too was a psycho. If you have to pull out a weapon many times, it doesn't really, you don't really think about it. And the thing about it though, some people do be feeling like they are all powerful with a weapon, but for me, no, because I only pull out weapons if I have to. And it's like when that dude ran up on my car, when I was trying to help that girl back in 2022, I didn't even pull out my GUN, and I certainly wasn't going to pull out no KNIFE because he could have took that because he was crazy as ever. And I didn't have enough time to pull out no GUN, and it was right there close to me, and I couldn't get it because the way that lunatic ran up on my car like that, man, I had to act very quickly. That's why I say, everything goes by so quick. You don't remember everything. You don't have time to be feeling like you got a bunch of power. You just want to stop the person from messing with you. Okay? Just like that day when I had to stop him from messing with me. I was thinking about feeling powerful. I was gonna F him up and not let him get in my car and pull me out my damn car and unalive me or beat the shit out of me. Okay, so I did what I had to do. And I didn't have not one. I did have my stuff. I couldn't get it because sometimes you don't have enough time to get anything. And so I used the next best thing, my car, to stop him. So there you go. And I was scared. Everybody I had to defend myself against, I was scared. And when you got fear, it makes you, if you don't listen, when somebody puts you in the position of defending yourself, if you don't want to get hurt, or your kids to get hurt, or you to get unalive, or your kids get unalive, or whatever, you may be scared, but you trying to save your life or your kid's life, it basically overshadows the fear. It makes you that fear actually, the fear of being unalived or being hurt or your kids being unalive or hurt, or just like in that girl's case, I was scared that this man was trying to kidnap her. So I was trying to help her. Okay. So that right there gives you the strength to defend yourself or to defend somebody else. It ain't about, for me, it wasn't about power. It's about basically keeping a person off of me. Because like when I used to have to get into it with my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend, me and this dude used to get into it all the time. I should have broke up with him, but when you're young, you don't be realizing that. And he was like 7 years older than myself and everything. And he was a good guy at first. And then he started smoking and stuff and just started acting crazy and stuff. But he had me effed up when he thought he was going to put his hands on me. I don't give a damn if he was bigger than me or he's a man or whatever the case is. I have seen so many women, big women, get body slammed by a little old man. And I had made up in my mind a long time ago when I was a teenager, I'm not letting any dude mess me up like that. He may get a hit in there, but after that, that's going to be it. And so when my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend, called himself hitting on me, when I tell you guys I used to try to F him up, I really, truly did. Okay? And not one time did I ever get arrested. I remember one time we was in a car and this dude, I don't know, we got into an argument because I still had this mouth back then, Jermaine. I really did. And I don't know, he got mad about the stuff that I was saying and he started hitting me. And I was driving. I could not do a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I saw a police coming. Y'all, it was like a movie because I stopped that damn police car. And the only thing the police told me is don't stop them like that again because somebody could have got unalive and stuff. And I said he was hitting me and I didn't have any choice. And what they did is put his ass out my car. They did not arrest him that day though. They didn't arrest him or anything. They did make him get out of my car. And he had the nerve to ask the police, can they take him home? And they told him to get home the best way that he can and stuff. But yeah, it was a trip. So when you have to defend yourself like that, against somebody numerous times, please, it ain't about not having power. It's about making sure somebody don't be messing you up. The only time I think people be feeling that power is when they try to act like they bad, especially people who start shit and they use weapons to, make themselves feel like they bad and you can't touch them. But when you are doing actual self-defense, for most people, that does not come into your mind. You're just thinking about keeping this person off of you and you're not getting unalive or getting hurt. And I have used self-defense many times, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And never once was charged. Okay? Oh, okay. Sorry, I figured that because I said that at first, that I changed it. The only time you would do this if you don't have any choice. You're not just going out here adding people. You only do stuff like that when you don't have any choice. That's the difference, between people using self-defense and people who don't be using it, and they try to hide, under that title because they're just basically lost control or just violent. You know what I'm saying? Right. See, that's not enough. Two dudes taking your hat, tossing it back and forth is not enough to use self-defense. Okay, you can just might as well just run or just ignore that. You know what I'm saying? But when a dude come up to you and he's physically hitting you, that's grounds to use self-defense. Okay, unless you invited, like here in California, you can't be inviting a dude into your house and you know that he's about to do something to you. Okay, because then that's not self-defense. It's different in different states, and you have to really look it up, to find out what you can do, what constitutes self-defense and what does not, because you'll land yourself in jail if you use self-defense when you shouldn't be. But when it comes to men fighting women, unless the dumb little woman, wait until later on and try to do something, or if the dude walks away and then she runs behind him and ab him, or either SHOOT him, then that's not going to be looked at as self-defense. Anytime I had to use self-defense, it was right when a person was doing something physically to me. Just like when the dude ran up on my car. This psychopath act like he was on some DRUGS. He runs up to my car. I slowed down for the chick, asking her if she okay. She was like 19 years old, and I'm seeing her crying, at 1 o'clock in the morning, walking down the street, and he riding up against her, telling her to get in the car. And I'm like, is this man trying to kidnap her? Because I had driven right past her, and I saw that. And then I turned back around to come back to help her. Okay? And so when I slowed down and asked her, was she okay? Here comes this damn lunatic running like a madman. But he effed up when he chose to run to me to get on my car like that. He messed up big time when he did that, because he definitely put my life in jeopardy doing all of that stuff. Because like the police said, the police told me not to help nobody anymore because he could have had a GUN and could have started, through the window. But the police didn't know one little thing. Yeah, he could have did that. But I tell you what, when he would have been doing that, we both would have been unalive, because I would have driven right into him still. And I would have did it over and over and over again. Sure would have, as long as I can. Because if I'm dying, he's going to be dying too, period. And that's just how I was thinking that day. And it wasn't about trying to be bad or getting some type of power or anything like that, because it's straight up self-defense. And when you utilize straight up self-defense, you're not thinking about no power. Okay? That only applies to people who are trying to do stuff to people intentionally. Like if you go up there and you say, I'm gonna and all this stuff, those people, those type get that power that they're bad, that they can do anything because they got a KNIFE in their hand or a GUN or some other type of weapon. But if you are using self-defense and it's actually self-defense because you're trying to stop somebody from doing something to you because you feel like your life is in jeopardy or you're going to get really hurt, you don't be feeling no empowerment like that. You be scared and trying to get that person away from you. That's what you be doing. And certain things at times too, fear is good to have, okay? It's good to be fearful, but I don't think you should let people see that. Much like when them dogs was trying to get us. I was scared as crap, of those two dogs, but damn, I couldn't let that come out because those two dogs would have tore us up. Okay, and I'm here right now, and my kids didn't get bitten, and I didn't get bitten. So when that lawyer said that I was listening to the other night or day, he said that Karmelo Anthony wasn't scared because he was talking basically back. Because you talk back to people, it doesn't mean that you are not afraid of them. I just told you about that, Jermaine, you weren't listening. I just told you a couple hours ago that they had a 7.5 earthquake in Venezuela, and then one in Japan, and then they had one in Northern California. That's what I said. I was like, why are they having all these earthquakes? And you was like, fault lines or something you said. You said it's an odd delay. I mean DNA, right? I have this bad habit. If I'm sitting in public, and somebody accidentally elbows me a little, I instantly elbow back at the same time. Now, see, I don't do stuff like this. If somebody touch me like with simple stuff like that, I tend to overlook that. Because I remember that day, I told other people this story once before. We was out at Oceanside Beach, right? And I did have my GUN with me, I'm not gonna lie, and my KNIFE too. Okay, anyway, we walking, not on the pier, but like on a sidewalk area, whatever the case is. So this homeless white dude come walking by us with his crazy self. He ran straight into my daughter. Okay, I mean, knock her ass out of the way. I'm laughing because it was funny, because I didn't say anything to him when he did that. And then I told my other daughter and my son, let's move over so he won't run into us, because it looks like he's a little bit cray-cray, and I ain't trying to use self-defense today and F this dude up. So we just gonna ignore him. So that's exactly what I did. So anyway, when the dude hit my other daughter, when he came by us, he tried to run into my other daughter or either my son. So it was a black dude and a white dude walking behind me. Next thing I know, the black dude walks up and the white dude walks up to the white homeless dude and the black dude asked him, man, did you just run into her? This dude stood right there and lied. He said, I didn't run into her. The black dude said, yes, the F you did. You did run right into her. And then he asked me, did this dude right here run into your daughter right there? I said, he sure did. So the black dude made the white dude apologize and stuff. And he said some stuff to him, telling him he would beat his ass and all this other stuff and everything. But he knocked the crap out of my daughter. And I didn't do anything. I didn't go in my bag. I didn't go nowhere, in my pocket, nothing. What I told my kids is just to ignore him because he's cray-cray. And I do not want to have to F this dude up out here today and possibly have to go down into the police department today. So I did ignore him. So sometimes I do ignore people if you can. Now, I know a lot of people, if he would have ran right into his daughter like that and knocked her out the way, it would have been a scrap. Or either he would have got his head blown off. It depends on the person. I just read it. That one up there, I read that one. Where you said I have this bad habit. If I'm sitting in public and somebody accidentally elbows me a little, I instantly elbow them back at the same time. Then they give me a bad look and grumble. So I said I don't do that. I don't basically hit people back. I don't do none of that stuff. If it's something small like that. It's like when that dude ran into my daughter. I ignored that. But I don't know why we are having all these earthquakes. I just hope they don't have no major one out here in Cali. You know what I'm saying? In this part of Cali where I live at. Because I'm going to be ready to move instantly after the earthquake is over, even though you're not going to be able to. The other one, though, I think the one in, let me think. One of those, some people did get injured. Okay? I don't know which one it is. I don't think the Northern California, I don't think anyone, I think there was some minor injuries, I'm not sure. That's a lot of earthquakes. They've been having earthquakes every day now. A lot of them. I just hope you don't have a big one. Because that's going to be a trip, y'all. Y'all ever been in an earthquake? When I lived in Texas, they had a little earthquake out there. And I don't like it. And when I lived in Cleveland, they had an earthquake there. And I didn't know what that was. Okay, I didn't know what that was. Because I'm like, at the time, I'm like, we don't have earthquakes out here in Cleveland, Ohio. And it, you know what? It's like a freight train coming close to your house. Because everything just shakes. And then when I first moved out here, they had an earthquake. It was small and I felt it. And I do not like the way that feels, you guys. That's a scary feeling right there. Damn. But nothing was more scarier than that day going tornado they had in ATL when I lived there. That was a major one. It uprooted trees. It turned the those big signs they have out there, those billboards. It turned that like a piece of paper. It turned the cars over. It broke all the windows out. And when a tornado get close to you, close to your house, it also makes everything shake. Because what it did, it got close to the apartment building where I was staying at the time, but it basically bypassed it. Okay, but when it went past it, it made the whole place shake. And you also hear a whirring sound. So that was a hot mess. You can look that tornado up online. The biggest one they had in ATL, that's the one I was in. I was at work and I actually left work to go back home to be with my kids just in case. And it tore up that office complex I worked at. It tore it up. So I'm glad I left when I left. Yeah, you definitely, because you'll do it, hopefully you don't. But yeah, because people out here today, they be doing the most for little bitty stuff. I try not to do that because that's when self-defense won't work in a court of law. But the thing about it, let me tell you something straight up. If somebody is messing with me and doing something where they can cause bodily injury or unalive me, I don't give a damn. I'm just going to have to face those charges because I'm not letting anybody unalive me or my kids, okay? That's sad. Hey. $32, and that's probably because they're not, their buildings are probably not earthquake, resistance and stuff. But I don't give a damn when the earthquake is so high, like it was 7 point something, 6 point something. It doesn't matter, man. That's why I'm leaving Cali. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, because hopefully they won't have hopefully they would never have a real big earthquake here or anything. But I love it out here, but I can't live out here forever because you just never know. And I'm about to move right now because now see, I am with stuff like that. I would be kind of scared, okay, because that's a different situation. I don't know if you guys ever felt an earthquake. It's not something that you really want to experience. Another thing too that can happen anytime. You can be in a damn shower, earthquake. You can be asleep, earthquake. When you're in a car though, you don't feel the shaking. Isn't that weird? Even when I be outside, sometimes you don't feel it. But in that damn mall, and if it's an earthquake, it feels weird. But the mall is made. They really got it made for that because when it's an earthquake, like this mall out here, it basically rocks. And that's a scary ass feeling. Just like where I used to live at, in the apartment building I used to live in, it would do the same thing. And this house is probably an earthquake thing too, because it's brand new. So it probably does the same thing. It gives some. So I guess it won't crumble down. I don't know. I just hope we don't ever be in no major earthquake. Anything over 6, I'm ready to leave. Actually, anything over 4, I'm ready to leave. Let's keep it real. Because shit, a 3 point something feels tripped out. So imagine a 4 point something or a 5 or a 6. It's because of that, don't let me start lying. It's the default thing. I can't remember exactly how they said it. But it's one, say Andes, is it called the Andes fault line? They said that it was basically, let me look it up, because I forgot how they put that. I just hope we don't have a major one. Let me see, I think it's called the Andes fault line. I think. What is the name of that fault line? It's San Andes fault in California. Let's see. And that thing stretches all the way out to, let's see. It don't show me on here, but damn, look at this real quick. All the way through LA. Ooh, man, San Diego, all these places. San Bernardino, Palmdale. But definitely by San Francisco, Santa Rosa, San Jose, Hollister, Eureka, all that. Damn. Okay, let me see what they said about this. Oh, this goes over 800 miles through California. So as the plates lock and then slip, with stress building up over time, mostly in California, Southern California, which is considered overdue for a major earthquake. And unfortunately, you guys, I am in Southern California. So they said that is building up. The stress is building up. So they said the plates move at an average of 1 to 2.4 inches per year. But this is released in sudden jerky movements during an earthquake. Earthquake. So they said that our stress levels are at their highest in 1,000 years, increasing the likelihood of a major earthquake in Southern California. And they say if they do have one here, it can cause massive damage and loss of life in the Los Angeles area. Thank God I'm not in Los Angeles, but hey, I still think that we would feel it out here. I really do. Now they said that, hold on, let me see what it said. And they, I don't know how you pronounce this, CAJON pass, if they have one in that area, they said that if the San Andreas, I guess that's how you say that, and San Jacinto faults meet, and a rupture here could potentially trigger a larger double fault earthquake. Damn. And that mean I bet you everybody will be gone. Damn. Let's see. The plate tectonics, right. AI says no physical mechanism links Venezuela, Japan, Northern California. They sit on different tectonic, well, not tectronics, not tectonic plates. So what does that mean? So they're not linked together because that's a different plate? Is that what they're saying? Oh, wow. Okay, so it's not linked. But I'm more concerned about this little fault right here. The one I just said, San, I forgot how you said it, Andreas, or however you say Andes or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce that. Where they said it's the stress levels is at its highest in 1,000 years. They've been talking about it for at least a month or two months at least. I just haven't been thinking about it. Because what can you do besides get up and move? And then you move to another state, right? And then they have a damn earthquake and you get alive, or something else happens and you get alive. It's going to be, hey, A-Dub, what's up, what's up? You know what? Because a lot of people are in denial and don't think things can happen. There's going to be a lot of people get unalive if it is a major earthquake because they don't believe things can happen. Me, I be trying to be prepared. I be thinking of stuff I'm going to do. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I even told my kids what to do in case we get separated. You know what I'm saying? I already got the plan all figured out. And I do that with everything. With everything. Let me see what they say what happened here. So they said if it does break, California will not fall into the ocean. Instead, it will experience a massive earthquake, magnitude 7.8 to 8.2, which causes severe ground shaking, hundreds of billions of dollars in infrastructure damage, and potential multi-city utility outages. And it's going to cause, if a rupture is along the 800-mile fault line, it would yield several direct consequences across the state. So it can shift the ground by up to 10 to 20 feet in certain zones. Major highways, the Rapid Transit Authority, utilities, aqueducts, electricity networks, all of that will be messed up. Then they said the impact will severe connections between Southern California, such as Los Angeles, and the rest of the state. And they're going to have utility outages and everything. So them damn cell phones, if they're not charged up, they won't be working. Dang. And they said it would affect multiple cities at the same damn time. I hope I don't be here. I hope they never have one though. But I damn sure hope I'm in a mood by that time. Hopefully they won't have one though, because I don't want these people to go through that. And these homeless people and shit and all these people, no. The animals, no, I hope not. I hope they're wrong. Oh yeah, I just read that. It is, A-Dub. How you doing? Oh, wow. It doesn't matter. A tsunami? It sure was. They had an earthquake here in the North Ridge earthquake. I don't know what that was, the magnitude. Let me see. Oh, that was shit. Wait a minute, they just had an earthquake today. Let's see, they had one at 7:57. That was only 2.8. No, they had that on June 21st. Okay, I'm wrong. Let's see. They have earthquakes here every single day, all day long. Because they had like a 2.6 on the 24th at 2:06. Then they had another one at 10:32 on June 23rd. That was a 2.8. So the one they had in 1994, the North Ridge earthquake, let's see what that was. It had to be pretty high because it's in a damn, what's the name? Oh no, that was high. It was a 6.7. If I would have been here back in 1994, that would have happened, I would not be living here right now. Perfectly honest. Man, 6.7 is pretty high, y'all. Dang. Oh no, man. They felt that shaking all the way as far as San Diego, Las Vegas, Utah, Phoenix, Arizona, Mexico, Baja, California, Mexico, that is. Damn, 60 people passed on, 9,000 were injured. They had a property damage to be 13 to 50 billion. Goodness. That North Ridge Mall, though, they fixed that mall right back up. It's nice out there. Damn. Well, the Bible does talk about earthquakes, okay? But it says in strange places. So, I mean, we may be concentrating on California and these other places, and the earthquake may hit somewhere else. That's sad, man. I just hope we don't have a no major one, because that would be messed up. So they had an earthquake in 1971 too at the same place. That one was 6.6 in North Ridge. This is not true. They said they had a 7.1 magnitude earthquake that shook the Los Angeles area July the 5th in 2019. Well, I don't live in LA, but I definitely didn't feel that July the 5th, 2019, because I was here. But I don't know how far that stretched out. I think I kind of remember because they had some kind of force shock on July the 4th. Man, these earthquakes are something else, y'all. Y'all got me reading about damn earthquake. We supposed to be talking about Karmelo. I'm sitting up here looking at damn earthquake information. Let me see what animals can. Okay, so they say cats can sense an earthquake. So my cat's been acting pretty good. But I know that one cat I got downstairs, she don't be sensing on damn earthquakes. Now I don't know about Sable and St. Laurent. They make him sense earthquakes. So if I see them acting all crazy and stuff, then we know what to do. Oh, okay. So they got heightened senses that allows them to feel subtle, if I said that right, force shocks, perceive changes in the Earth's magnetic field, or smell underground gases released before a quake. Okay. So they say they can usually start acting, restless, or they start increasing their activities 1 to 20 hours before earthquake. If they can just figure out how to do something that can basically sense stuff like these animals can, they can, tell us when a major earthquake is coming, especially if they can kind of invent something that can notify you 20 hours before. Even 5 hours could make a difference. Right now, they give us like probably a 2-second warning before earthquake. They send you notification. It's too late by that time, though. It really is. So that's a daggone shame, y'all. Damn, 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 damn. Hopefully these people don't have no more earthquakes, and hopefully we don't have one either, especially not a big one. I mean, they just had one in Northern California, but I'm talking about, that's 7.8 and things of that nature, but that's going to be like, really, really bad and stuff. But, it is what it is. We can't be going around here scared either and stuff. But if it's a shake here, though, y'all can best believe Shay's too, if she gets the opportunity to, I am going to be relocating because I do not like them damn earthquakes. Tornadoes or earthquakes is a no-no for me. I know the next 30 years. Well, so let's see. I probably won't be here anyway in 30 years, okay? Shit. But anyway, I would like when I get really old for real, I don't think I would want to be here anyway because I'm just trying to imagine, being old as hell and trying to be, run from an earthquake and stuff. I don't know about that. I need to go somewhere safe. Oh, really? Oh, man. It's hard, y'all. It's hard. You think? let's look at that. Let's hear that one more time before we get ready to go. What time is it? Okay. Let's listen to this one again and see.
He always was one to step up and be the
He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
See, his brother said that Austin grabbed his backpack. Okay? He said Austin grabbed his backpack. Yeah, so I think, Austin did grab his backpack. But the thing is this right here. I think the appeal is good. Okay? Because if the appeal is granted, and just say they do can prove that the errors are there and whatever the case is, and they end up doing a remand, which they will try, do another whole trial, right? If it does happen, and they have to do another trial, then maybe we will get a chance to hear Karmelo tell us what happened, and then maybe Hunter too. And if they decide to modify it and reduce the sentence, I think that's a good thing too, because I don't feel like Karmelo intentionally unalived Austin Metcalf. Okay, even if they say it's not self-defense, at least they can do what is it called? Yeah, I'm getting tired, so I can't even remember. Manslaughter, and it's another way. Those are lesser, and he would get lesser time. Okay, so I think if it is approved, he would probably get. I'm thinking that they'll probably just do. I forgot what you call it, but the one where they the modification. I think they'll probably do the modification, but they could do the other one too, like I just said, the remand. I don't think they will leave it as it is because they may be able to prove that there were some errors, or other things going on. And that defense team that he has now, they are very, very good, and they are good at their job too. So, we'll see how everything plays out. You say if they don't like that you support Karmelo, might as well block him from the jump. You know what? I usually do. Yeah, I mean, if people stay, respectful and stuff, I usually let people say what they need to say over here. But if they start getting cray-cray, yeah, I usually do block people. It's really no debate. I just like talking about certain things, and like, I'm not going to do a video on this every night. You know what I'm saying? Only if something new come up. But it's good to talk about it because so many people be on their channels saying untrue stuff and racism and just weird shit. You know what I'm saying? When you need to just basically talk about the real stuff. The real stuff is this right here. It doesn't matter with the appellate court what we see in the video. Okay? What matters if errors or some of the other stuff that I mentioned is there. Okay? Because the appellate court is not trying the case over again. It's checking out to see if everything was done correctly, and fairly and all of that stuff. The only way that the stuff we're talking about is going to matter is if they do a retrial. And then all this stuff that the defense attorneys investigate and find out, that would be submitted. Well, how so, A-Dub? That's so crazy. Oh, man. So the thing is, that's just what it is. What content creators talk about or say in regards to this appellate situation, it really doesn't matter because it's appellate court. Okay? Not the lower courts where they actually do the trials and all that stuff. And even then, the stuff that we say, if it's not supported by proof, and they're not calling us up to get it, it really doesn't matter. It's just our opinions. It sure was, wasn't it? Because I'm up here like y'all, why are we talking about this? I was trying not to focus on earthquakes here. Because sometimes you can make shit happen when you think about it all the time. So I try not to focus on it. But I'm living, even if they do have a major, we're going to be living in this house right here. Maybe not in this house, but we're going to be still alive because we're not going to panic and be acting crazy and doing the most. We're going to try to stay calm, cool, and collective, hopefully, and do what we need to do. I even got a plan for my animals. I told my daughter, if it's an earthquake here, we just got to do this. Leave the damn doors open so they can run and hide some kind of way versus staying in the house and getting unalive. And hopefully we'll be able to get them. I just hope we don't have a major earthquake. That's all I can do. Put it in God's hands. I think that Austin grabbed his backpack. Now, we don't know for sure. We're just thinking. I think that Austin grabbed his backpack, right? And Karmelo had his hand in the backpack on the knife. And when he grabbed the KNIFE, but when he grabbed the backpack, his hand came out with that. And then they might have got into some type of pushing or tussle type situation, hitting or whatever. And that's how he got out. You said. And he said he do not want me to talk about it again. Okay, he don't want to hear it. But like I said, the only time I'll talk about it again, if something major happened or it's just something ridiculous where I need to talk about it, I will. I don't watch other content creators though. The only person that I do watch sometimes is Willie D. I'll watch him. But other than that, I don't really watch other content creators talk about this case. That's how much they got, $650,000. They're going to need more than that. Because them damn defense attorneys, they're going to be charging a lot. And then they're doing this probably up to, what, 2 years? And just think of it, if the appeal doesn't get granted, then they have to go to, what is the next? I forgot the order, but I told you guys all about it last night. The Supreme Court or something like that. So all of that could cost money, honey. So they're going to need some money. $625,000. And then they got rumors going on that they're using it to buy a house. That's not true. And that's what I'm talking about. People need to stop putting up these rumors. You know what I'm saying? These people were already doing good financially because the dad had a very good career. So you giving them $100? I need y'all to donate Shades Tube some money too right now on my Cash App at $ Shades Tube. I don't know. I can look it up and see. Let's see. Let's look it up and see real quick. Let me look it up. It's 625,000. Let's see what they say. Okay, so no, they said no, they did not give it back. The 630,000 raised on the Give, Send, Go campaign was dispersed over the course of a year for various pre-trial expenses. So they did spend the money, lawfully spent the money on Karmelo's legal defense, and then they had to relocate because of safety, issues. And they did not purchase a luxury home with that money. Okay. Let me see what they're saying on this right here. Now on here they said that Karmelo Anthony's 625K crowdfunding page was yanked by Give Send Go after the conviction. But they just closed it, and they said they may be able to do another one, and that's because of his, his earlier conviction, I guess. So they didn't. So that was another rumor they had going up. They didn't stop it because he was convicted. They stopped it because what they were raising the funds for was no longer needed. They raised those funds to support the pretrial needs, okay, and everything concerning that. And once he was found, his court case was over. Basically, there was no need to do that fundraiser anymore. So it was closed, but they can do another one. And the $4,000 that was raised after his conviction, they don't know if they will get that, okay? But they did say they may be able to set up a new fund if he seeks an appeal. And he can do that. They can do that with Give, Send, Go. As long as the policies are followed, they can do it. So all the stuff that people were saying online is not true. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, I just said that the $4,000. I don't know if they will get that or not. Okay. But remember this. They just said that the money that they raised, the 600 some thousand, that was for legal stuff, for them to relocate, and security. Okay, for all of that stuff. So so they probably use that. They use that for all of that, and that probably cost a lot. And 75,000 is a lot, man. Yeah, because I think the dad had to stop his job because they were going up to his job threatening and stuff like that. So he had to end up leaving his job. I think he was making six figures there. So of course they would need money to live on and all that stuff, and all of that. And when you look at this dude, getting damn well, this boy is an A student, worked 2 jobs, never been incarcerated, never been in trouble. You can look at them pictures and tell how his family had him dressed with that bow tie on, man. You could tell he was trying to, make them follow directions and, teach his boys and his daughter, to be good and everything. It's just a situation that really got out of control. Because you can look at him and tell he's not no thug or nothing like that. Come on now. He saved that little girl's life. All of that stuff should have been brought out in that trial. And then he has epilepsy and stuff. Getting down what his kid was not doing, ain't doing all that stuff. He shouldn't have got 35 years. That's too long. So they did say the family can set up a new campaign as long as it aligns with our terms of service. And that's another little thing too about the skipping sentencing. They talked about that too in the attorney that I was listening to. He said this family's life has been turned upside down. So if they use the money to move or wipe their asses, who cares? And the people complaining didn't donate shit. I heard that. Like I just said, I just told y'all what they use the money on legal stuff, you know, the pre-trial, all of that, for relocating, for security detail, and etc. That's what they use that money on. I don't know. They just said in this article right here, though, that came out. Let me see when this article came out. Oh, this was on June. No. Let me see when this came out. Hold on. Yeah, this came out on June 10th. It was updated June 10th. It's not a confusing case. To me, it's a weird case, but it's not confusing to me. See, the way they be having it in this newspaper, it makes you think that they just shut down his thing and he didn't get this other money, but they did. They used that for living expenses, for legal and living expenses, you know, to relocate and all that type of stuff. Because again, like I said before, his dad had to stop his job. You know, everything been turned upside down, you know, and for people to think that the family should stop living because of something their son, you know, is involved in is crazy. Just like their little threats and stuff like that. And why everybody want to talk about what they doing or what they did with money? What didn't the Metcalfs get donations to? What did they do with their money? You actually made, let's read it right there. Hold on, let me see. What's that man's name? Hold on. Let's see if we can pull up theirs. I bet you can't. Let's see. So Jeff Metcalf has raised $629,000. Okay. But y'all ain't saying nothing about y'all. These people are so hypocritical. They're not saying anything about what are they doing with their money. Their goal was $1 million. So Adrian Ross donated to them $10,000. So in memory of Austin Metcalf, a local pizzeria owner raised an additional $178,000. Combined, the community fundraisers established for the Metcalf family have generated over $807,000 in total donations. So what are they going to do with that money? Which y'all all on the Anthonys, huh? $807,000. So what are they going to do with that money? We know that you can't bring the son back with no money donations. See, we got to be fair all the way around, okay? You guys are so concentrating on what the Karmelo Anthony family did with the money, but y'all not asking the same question about the Metcalf family. What did they do with that money? $807,000. Because we already know that the Anthonys used that money to relocate because they were getting threatened. You know, they got kids, other little kids. The dad had to quit his job. They probably let him go because all the people were coming up to his job and stuff doing the most. And then, they had to pay for his legal defense. Security detail, that probably costs a lot, and just whatever else. So we do know what they did with their money. But what did the Metcalf, what are they doing with their money? I know all people who have lost kids in violence, similar to this, I know they wish that they could get donations and set up fundraising programs and get donations like this. Did y'all donate? They be donating a lot to these dead one. George Floyd family got over for 14 million. Yeah, they got a settlement too of 27 million. Wow. All right. There you go, y'all. There you go. We just found out some new little stuff tonight. Okay. And there you go. I'm just looking at all this stuff right here, you guys. All these donations. But anyway, that's it for this live tonight, you guys. I got up a little bit. Well, no, it's 3:00, but we've been up. No, what time is it? No, it's 2:41, and we've been on this live for 3 hours. But we did talk about a lot of stuff. We really, truly did. Now we know how much the Metcalfs got, 800 and some thousand. We know what Anthony's them got. They got 600 and some thousand. We know what the Anthony's used their money for. Okay. We did hear some rumors about what Metcalf family used theirs for. So it is what it is. Yeah, we definitely had a good conversation tonight. For real, for real. We looked at that video again. We talked about the appellate courts. We talked about earthquakes, which we could have avoided that conversation, but we talked about earthquakes, self-defense, all types of stuff in this live tonight. We really had a good live. No weirdos came over here tonight tripping out or anything. So thank you to everybody for being mature, for, being intelligent and just being overall having good conversation. Thanks to Sat for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks to Ada for stopping by. I appreciate you. Who else was over here? Jermaine, like always, thank you. Let's see who else. Y'all, we be really talking in this chat, don't we? Young Riz, thank you, hon, for stopping by. Thanks to Miguel. He probably went to sleep. Nick's Tate, thank you so much. Brooklyn, thank you so much. They probably went to sleep. I don't blame them. Shit. Thanks to everybody in the bushes, everybody who watched this in the replay. And again, you guys, we're not, we still feel sympathy that they lost their son because it's still a sad situation. However, we want it to be fair, though. We want Karmelo to be treated fairly, have a fair trial. The trial is over, but in case he gets a retrial, we want everything to be fair. You know what I'm saying? We want everything to be fair, period. But we do acknowledge that Metcalf lost a son, and that's a shame, like I said before. I wish they could have all made, different choices, and this would have never happened. What, Blake? Right, that's the 4,000 they try to, that people were, continuously donating. So since the trial was over, okay, the campaign was closed. Just like when you do a GoFundMe, right? And you have an end date. Once that end date is there, unless you extend it, that campaign is over. Or maybe even once you reach your goal. I'm not sure, but I know once that end date is there, that's it unless you extend it. So that's the same way with these people right here. Once the trial was over, there was no need to raise money for a legal defense or pretrial. But now that they're doing an appeal, they can go back in now, as long as they adhere to their rules, policies and all of that. They can go back in and do another fundraiser to get the money they need for the appeal. The lawyers for that. Okay? All right. So again, thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody in the bushes, everybody who watches this at the replay. Y'all, when I start getting tired, I'll be saying all types of stuff. Y'all, don't forget the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, share, leave a comment, and hype this video up. And again, like I said before, we'll, talk about Karmelo, when other things come up or something major happens or whatever the case is. I'm not going to talk about him every single day because I'll just basically be repeating everything. But we will talk about him. We won't forget this case. We're not going to forget any of this. And we definitely need to teach our kids certain things so they can avoid situations like this. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, have a blessed night, y'all. And thank you so much. Good night, A-Dub. Good night, y'all. I wish StreamYard would do this stuff automatically. They charge you $50 a month, and you got to go in and push everything.
Yo, turn the lights down low and the drama up. She's late, she's loud, and she live. Woo! You already know who it is. Shades 2, baby. She back again. Crowd lit, vibe on 10. Shade walk in like we back again. News, tea, jokes and spins. She don't do small talk, she go in. From the headlines to the comment section. She call names with no correction. You tuned in, don't act brand new. It's late night, baby, she got that view. She say what she want, then laughs all day. Look on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I let gang, and back again. Say what she want, then laughs all day. Look on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again. Popcorn ready, wig on alert. She dropped one line, is somebody hurt? Talk show queen with a side of roast. She run this thing from coast to coast. Late on purpose, still on time. She hit you with shade, then call it a rhyme. Talk smart, talk slick, talk flame. Say the name right, yeah, late night with Shay. She say what she want, then laughs all day. Look on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again. She say what she want, then laughs all day. Look on Shay's tube, press replay. You thought I left, nah, I'm back again. That's right. News, drama, laughs, whatever else you feel like. One mic, one queen. Late night with Shay. Shay's
All right, y'all. Good night and sweet dreams. Thank you so much.